Chapter 5. Bilbo. I called out to him, rushing over to his side. I grabbed his hand and tried to shake him awake. After a few long minutes, he woke up with a start, looking around the room. His gaze finally landed on me and he took a steady breath. "Out of the way," Gandalf said, moving the dwarves aside. "Bilbo, dear fellow, are you okay?" "Yes, I'm okay. Just a bit lightheaded is all," Bilbo responded, sitting up a bit more. "Maybe you should go sit in your room for a few minutes?" I suggested to both Bilbo and Gandalf. "A good idea, Miss Baggins," Gandalf said, nodding at me. "This way, Bilbo. Why don't you stay here and Thorin and Balin can better tell you about the quest. I will inform Bilbo about the specifics one-on-one." I went to argue, to get myself out of staying with the dark-haired dwarf lord, but Gandalf left before a word left my mouth. I stood in my place, keeping my eyes on where Gandalf had just left until a short cough pulled me back to reality. I turned around slowly, doing my best to hide the discomfort on my face. "So, you need us to slay a dragon?" I asked the two dwarves in front of me. "Not slay, lass, just steal from," Balin told me with a smile. "If I am stealing from him, doesn't that mean whatever you want belongs to him?" I enjoyed playing devil's advocate and I needed something to remove the tension from the room. My plan worked and Thorin was quick to respond. "The dragon owns nothing. He has nothing coming for him except his death. If I could have, I would have killed him long ago. He has stolen from me that which would finally crown me king," he said, folding his arms and staring me down. I refused to break the eye contact and decided to continue pushing his buttons. "King? You seem too hot-headed to be a king." I smirked at him. He looked away with a huff and stormed off down the hall. I smiled triumphantly and looked over to Balin, who had plastered on an amused face. "I've never seen him so nervous," he told me, looking back towards where Thorin had disappeared. "Nervous? Why should a soon-to-be king be nervous?" I asked back in surprise. "Surely it couldn't have been me. He just met me and I wasn't looking for anything with anyone. Even if he was incredibly gorgeous." Balin nodded his head towards me as if he knew what I was thinking. "Thorin was nervous around me?" "That's absurd," I told him before quickly walking away towards Bilbo's room. Bilbo sat in his favorite armchair, holding a mug in his hands and rolling his eyes at Gandalf, who was retelling the story of our uncle. "I don't think I can go through with this," Bilbo finally said, interrupting Gandalf. "And why not?" "I remember a young hobbit who was always running off in search of elves, in the woods with his sister. They'd stay out late, come home, after dark, trailing mud and twigs and fireflies. Young hobbits who would have liked nothing better than to find out what was beyond the borders of the Shire. The world's is not in your books and maps. It's out there," he told Bilbo, while glancing at me every so often. "Can you promise me I will come back?" Bilbo asked Gandalf, his eyes filled with some sort of longing. "No," Gandalf said, shaking his head, "and you will not be the same if you do." "Bilbo, come on," I pleaded, "we need this. Remember what we talked about as kids. We have been cooped up here for so long, why not go searching for some adventures?" Bilbo rose to his feet, looking at me and Gandalf and holding the contract in his hand. "I'm sorry I can't sign this." I'm sorry, but we just can't do this." "I have to do this, Bilbo. I know what you are feeling, but I feel as though I will regret this if I don't go. This is what has been missing all my life and I finally have the chance to seize it. I have to go," I told him, looking at my feet. "You would leave me behind?" "Come. I want you to come, but if your heart is set on no, then yes, I will go without you." I finally met his gaze and almost cried at the disappointment he carried in his eyes. But it was too late to change my mind. I would hope that if I needed help reclaiming my home, someone would be kind enough to help me. I needed to at least try. Slowly I nodded. "I will sign it," I told Gandalf, walking over to the table and dipping my quill in ink. I wrote my name on the first empty line in neat printing and paused at the door. Please don't make me go alone, Bilbo. I am a Baggins, from Bag End YN. I cannot abandon my home. Some people in this world don't have a home, Bilbo. I want to make a difference, make a mark on this planet. I hope you come to your senses, and if not, I hope to see you once again. My voice broke, but I did not turn around. I held the contract tightly in my hand, looking down at my feet as I walked back to Balin. As I walked, I bumped into Thorin, who was eavesdropping on the conversation. I was too upset to care and whispered a small apology before continuing. I didn't get far, only a few steps, before he grabbed my arm, pulling me back. "Thank you," he whispered. He was looking deep into my eyes, only this time there was no hint of annoyance. No one was trying to outlast the other. This was a genuine appreciation, and on some level I felt like we were finally connecting. I gave him a smile in response, for there was nothing I could say that would cover the paragraphs going through my mind. I felt the need to apologize to him for his home, or rather the lack of home. He loosened his grip and I pulled away, walking towards my room to start packing. It was going to be a long road ahead.
I'm glad you enjoyed that video/gameplay. Just remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, goodbye!